Like it or not, Pokemon cards will be one of the big sellers this Christmas. But if you're thinking about getting some of the cards for your youngsters, you'll want to pay close attention to what consumer columnist Chris Armstrong discovered. Chris?
That's right. And I just happen to have some Pokemon cards with me. There you go. My gift to you.
I'm telling you, I am so glad that my kids aren't into these. But you know the secret.
What's that?
You bankrupt the family budget by putting them in indoor soccer and piano and everything else, and then they have no money for these cards.
Well, you know, your kids wouldn't want them anyway.
Why not?
Because they're counterfeits, fakes, as phony as a $3 bill. And this is a $1 million industry in North America. For the untrained, these knockoffs can be very deceiving. So now we're going to show you how to spot the ripoff. It is without a doubt the biggest kids' craze of the year, Pokemon.
Let me see your cards.
The big sellers are, of course, the cards. Kids collect them, play with them, and trade them.
These two for this one and this one.
There's also the TV show and other merchandise. And just last month, the movie, which was greeted by long lines of kids. But for fans, there's a dark cloud looming over Pokemon.
We were created with powers far stronger than the originals.
A force that has Pikachu and his friends on the run.
We brought in Pikachu!
To successfully clone a Pokemon to prove our theories.
Counterfeit Pokemon cards that are catching some consumers by surprise.
I would have been duped myself if I hadn't looked at it.
11-year-old Rory McLennan has been offered counterfeit Pokemon cards countless times. He has always been able to spot the fake. That hasn't been the case with all of his friends, though.
I've known people who spent $80 worth on them and they just figured out that they were knockoffs and nobody even traded with them. So.
Rare individual Pokemon cards can sell for anywhere from $15 to hundreds of dollars. The knockoffs, though, are worth
nothing. Zilch.
Now, you won't find the counterfeits sold at any store. Usually, they're sold on the playground or at a Pokemon trading session at a mall or flea market. Just how many fakes are out there? It's hard to say. But John Mansfield, who runs Pendragon Games and Hobbies, says he regularly has someone coming in trying to sell him counterfeits.
We had people come in and say, would you like to buy them? And say, we don't do rip-offs. And then we start asking where you got it from and everything else. And suddenly it becomes very vague, and the guy says, thank you very much, and leaves.
With so many fakes floating around, we asked Rory and John to give us some tips on spotting the phony Pokemon.
The color, this has a blue hue, and this has a purple hue.
If you look closely, you'll notice the card on the right has a more purple tone than blue. Blue means it's true. Purple, it's a phony.
The ball on the back is distorted. It's not a perfect round shape.
Again, look closely at the cards. You'll notice the Pokemon ball on the right is more oblong than round. That's a sure sign the card on the right is a fake.
Just holding up to the light because the graphite's missing. You can actually see straight through.
If you hold a fake and real card up to a light, you'll be able to see through the counterfeit one. That's because a real card has an insert of graphite in it. The fake one doesn't.
Below, there's no trademark.
And finally, the Nintendo trademark. The first card has one at the bottom of the card. None of the fakes we saw had a trademark on them. For the most part, though, it's not the kids who are getting caught buying fakes. Who gets fooled by these knockoffs?
Parents.
We showed a deck of fakes to these parents who admitted to buying over $500 worth of Pokemon cards for their kids. They eventually spotted them, but had to admit
they're pretty good. They are, but I mean, like I said, I go through them every day, so I could probably tell, not by just looking at them. I'd have to really, really glance at them, but those are really good.
Fakes and counterfeits have gotten so bad, this summer Nintendo started seizing counterfeit Pokemons at the border, most of which were coming in from Asia.
In the past 6 months, all products considered, we've seized over $17 million worth of counterfeit Pokemon products in North America.
That includes $500,000 seizures in Vancouver and Toronto. And it's not just the cards. The company has also seized plush toys. stickers, and books. Finally, the best way to avoid the fakes is to make sure you buy the cards in the foil packs. There have been no reported cases of counterfeits in these foil packs. The counterfeits only seem to pop up when they're sold individually.